talking about the drought for, for many years. May 2015 is a month that will be talked about along with it, and a month we won't soon forget.
Yeah, we've been talking about everything's so dry all the time. Now we have another problem, and it's a good problem. Everything is just lots of rain everywhere.
Lots of rain everywhere.
We've had 17 inches of rain here in Wichita Falls since the beginning of May. Isn't that crazy?
What a blessing.
And so far since 2015, we've had 25.11 inches. Now the yearly average annual rainfall for Wichita Falls is 28.92, so we're about a little less than 4 inches away from already reaching our annual average. So goodness, just a very wet spring. This will probably also go down as our all-time wettest spring as well, and that's the period between March, April, and May. That's the meteorological spring, so to speak. So again, just very impressive rainfall totals throughout the entire month of May. Now, last night we had very heavy thunderstorms that developed across our southern counties, across Throckmorton, Young, Archer County, and southern Clay County into Jack County and also Monte County. Picked up some very heavy rain. Most of the heavy rain stayed south of Wichita Falls. However, this morning, once the cold front finally came on through, we saw a few scattered showers and thunderstorms, and we picked up about 17/100ths of an inch at Shepherd Air Force Base this morning here in Wichita Falls. Temperatures right now, everybody's in the 70s and 80s, 77 in Lawton, 78 in Frederick, and 79 in Vernon. Check out Bowie coming in at 72 this afternoon. So very comfortable temperatures across all of Texoma today. Looking at the radar, we still have a few clouds kind of streaming in from the southwest, but overall things kind of clearing out. We got some drier air trying to filter in, and that will put an end to the rain chances at least for the next 24 to 36 hours and also bring us some pleasant temperatures. Satellite radar across the whole nation. There's that storm system pushing off towards the east. Lots of heavy rain all the way from Michigan all the way down to Louisiana into the Texas Gulf Coast. Things are dry across Oklahoma and North Texas, and for once that's a pretty good thing. Looking at the Futurecast, things shaping up to be relatively dry. Now, Futurecast does do something interesting. By Monday morning or Sunday night, it does show a few scattered showers across our western counties early in the morning on Monday. We'll have to watch that. I didn't necessarily put that in the forecast, but we'll just have to watch and see how that plays out over the next 24 hours. Looking at your low temperatures tonight, a little chilly out there. 57 for Wichita Falls, 55 in Lawton, and 58 for Graham. Tomorrow afternoon, another warm day. However, it's below normal. Our average high is 87, 80 for your high in Wichita Falls, 78 in Lawton. So very comfortable temperatures continuing throughout the rest of the weekend. A recap of your forecast tonight. Gradual clearing, although some places have already cleared out. Dry and pleasant for your overnight hours. North winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Your forecast for tomorrow, about 80 degrees for your high temperature. Mostly sunny and dry and mild across the area. Can't rule out an isolated shower tomorrow night going to Monday morning. East winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Those will become southeasterly towards the end of the day. And the next 7 days shaping up like this. No rain changes in the forecast. We'll watch that Monday morning little disturbance to see what that does. But overall, temperatures staying in the 80s, lows in the 60s.
Community. You're watching KFDX3 News at 10 in high definition.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Melissa Foy. Lake Arrowhead State Park is temporarily closed. Park officials made that call just before 6 tonight. They say parts of the park have started to flood, and that's dangerous for park patrons. Lake Arrowhead is rushing over the spillways, and officials say they're expecting more water to come their way in the next few days. All of that water is being pushed in from Lake Kickapoo and the Little Wichita. Officials say they don't know when the park will reopen, but just as soon as it does, we will let you know. Federal investigators are in Plainview today trying to determine what caused a small plane to crash, killing 3 family members. Authorities say the single-engine plane crashed last night in a field shortly after taking off. They say the 3 people on the plane were Paul and Tammy Waller and 18-year-old Michelle Waller, who just graduated from high school. The family was on their way to a wedding in San Antonio. Although it was not raining, authorities say there were strong wind gusts at the time the plane took off. Texas Governor Greg Abbott says he will sign a new open carry gun law for the state. Abbott took to Twitter immediately after the law passed the State House and Senate last night, writing, "Next destination, my pen." The law will take effect January 1st. It allows people with concealed carry licenses to openly transport handguns in a shoulder or hip holster. Under the law, police will still be allowed to stop and detain a person solely for carrying a handgun openly. Licensees must be at least 21, must pass a background check and a written test and a range test. Federal aid will be on its way to flooding victims in Texas. President Obama signed a disaster declaration late last night. The move means federal aid will be coming to supplement state and local relief efforts. Massive flooding and tornadoes have killed 27 people in Texas and in Oklahoma in recent days. Hundreds of homes are destroyed or damaged, but the storms are not done yet. Rivers are still rising in some of the worst hit areas, and they're expected to peak over the weekend. With all the flooding rain and overflowing lakes, rivers, and ponds, some businesses are actually flourishing. Kevin Pinto shows us how the extra moisture helped some area farmers.
I said I was hoping you'd show up.
The downtown Wichita Falls Farmers Market was full of residents just waiting to get their hands on some fresh goods. And even though floods have been sweeping through Texoma the past few weeks, these local farmers say that's not necessarily a bad thing.
A little flooding is okay to deal, so you can have water in the ground to, to grow more vegetables.
But that's not to say that there hasn't been issues either. Flooding can still destroy crops, especially if the soil being used is not sandy enough for water to seep through. Not every crop needs this much water.
The crossroads in Charlie, where we grow a lot of stuff, the water that did run through there uncovered all the potatoes, so now all those aren't good because they turn green, and so that hurts.
Wheat farmers are really hurting, and I really feel for them because they don't need this much rain on their wheat. They need to get it cut and get it out.
Overall, business is picking up for these farmers, and they couldn't ask for more. Well, besides for a little more sunlight.
We need the sun to come out and shine. It'll help everything if we get some sunshine. These plants need the rain, they really do, but they need the sunshine just as much.
Kevin Pinto, KFDX 3 News.
Those farmers sure will be happy to know that sunshine is on its way this coming week, and we'll hear more about that when we come back.
You're watching KFDX 3 News at 10 with Melissa Foy. Weather with Eric Johnson. And sports with Jermaine Farrell. Closed captioning on KFDX is brought to you by the Altman Legal Group.
A really beautiful day, and it turned into a really beautiful night too, and a beautiful sunset.
Yeah, beautiful sunset, beautiful day. Just after all the storms, today finally just a calm, nice day. Got a picture sent in to us on Facebook from one of our full lakes now. This is Lake Arrowhead.
So pretty.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
When was the last time? Well, it's been forever since we've seen the lake this full.
It sure does seem like it.
And look how nice that sunset is. This picture came in from Tasha Kurtz. She posted that on our KFDX 3 weather page. If you got nice pics like that, post them on there too. We'd like to see them. So here's a look at the rainfall that we've seen this month here in Wichita Falls. 17 inches of rain for May 2015. That's going to go down as the all-time wettest month for Wichita Falls. And now check this out. So far in 2015, we've had over 25 inches of rain. In a normal year, we typically see just under 29 inches of rain. So we are just under 4 inches from reaching our average yearly amount of rainfall. Isn't that just incredible? So a very, very wet May across all of Texoma. This will most likely go down as the wettest spring, March, April, May for Wichita Falls as well. Looking at the estimated rainfall from last night, we did have some heavy rain that stayed just south of Vernon and Wichita Falls and Henrietta. A big band of heavy rain from Throckmorton down towards Graham and also into Jacksboro last night. Dropped some heavy rain, even saw some flash flooding. Most of that rain stayed south of the watershed, but now with our lakes looking pretty good, it's just nice not having to worry about where that rain falls, at least for right now. We're always worried, did it fall in the watershed? It's nice to just kind of have that pressure off of our shoulders now. Looking at the temperatures right now, 64 in Duncan, 66 in Wichita Falls, 66 in Bowie, and check out Childress coming in at 67 this evening. Looking at the satellite and radar, we have a few high clouds streaming in from the southwest, but things are clearing out nicely across our western counties around Quanah and Childress and Paducah clearing out. But the clouds still lingering around Bowie and down towards Jacksboro, but eventually those will clear out as well. A wider view of the satellite and radar. There's that storm system pushing off towards the east that brought us all the heavy rain. Now things are kind of drying out across Oklahoma and North Texas. Here's a quick look at Futurecast. We'll put it into motion for Sunday. It does show a few high clouds passing by, and then it does something kind of interesting going into Sunday night, going to Monday. However, it may be a little bit overdone, but it does show the chance for maybe a few scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder late Sunday night going into Monday morning. We'll just have to watch that really quickly. A little upward disturbance moving on through, but I do think that might be done a little bit overdone by Futurecast. But overall, things are looking a lot drier than they have for the past couple of weeks. Looking at your forecast, low temperatures tonight, 56 for Duncan, 57 Archer City, 60 for Monday. So overall, a relatively cool night compared to our average low of 64. So, but still, just comfortable weather out there. Forecast high temperatures tomorrow, everybody warming up below normal again. So our average high about 87, 80 for your high temperature in Wichita Falls, 78 for Bowie, and 84 for your high temperature in Childress. So a recap of your forecast for tonight, about 57, gradual clearing out. They were already cleared out across our western counties. North winds will continue about 5 to 15 miles per hour overnight. Tomorrow, looking for a high around 80 degrees, mostly sunny skies, dry and mild, and east wind becoming more southeasterly later on in the day at 5 to 15. The next 7 days shaping up like this. Temperatures.
Okay, this is probably one of the weirdest, most unique sporting events, if you could ever call it that I've ever heard of. It's the annual Shin Kicking Championships. They're held today in England, where competitors grapple and they kick each other's legs until one contestant falls over.
Or bleeds, right?
Well, right. So the idea is simple. Two competitors just hold on to each other and they kick, and they stuff straws into the legs of their pants so they can lessen, or straw rather, so they can lessen the impact. The winner of each match is the one left standing after 2 out of the 3 falls, and the champion has to defeat all other competitors to become the overall winner. Shin kicking used to be even more painful, but they have since outlawed boots, steel-capped, and otherwise. Thank the Lord Jesus for that, because getting kicked will still not feel good.
That's painful.
The World Olympics involve other events like wheelbarrow racing and tug of war. They date back to 1612.
You know, they also do that cheese roll thing over there too, where they roll the cheese down the hill.
I saw that last week. People like tumbling and toppling and
over sharp cheddar.
somersaulting.
I don't know. I could never ever. I could never do that. I couldn't handle it.
Anyway,
can we have a shin kicking contest later?
No, we can't. But I can handle this forecast though. 57 tomorrow morning, 73 by noon, and then 80 by tomorrow afternoon. Going to be a beautiful day. A lot drier than the past couple of days that we've been seeing for the past week or past month, really.
Yeah, that's right.
Across the entire area.
We really needed the rain, though. We are so thankful for that. Well, I'm thankful for you guys. This is actually my last weekend at KFDX, and so I'm anchoring today and I'm anchoring tomorrow, and you guys will be my friends for life. But
you know that.
Yes.
So anchoring today and tomorrow, we're gonna have so much fun, and then I'm reporting. Let's see, Wednesday and Thursday, and then
we're gonna get the Kleenex out too.
And then that's it.
And we're gonna enjoy every last few moments.
Yes, we are gonna have so much fun, and so that's all. Why am I getting teary-eyed? That's dumb.
Same
but
for tomorrow.
So that's all for us. But we will be back here at 5 tomorrow, all 3 of us.
Yes.
Yeah. Good night, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Melissa Foy. Some breaking news to report to you tonight. Lake Arrowhead State Park is now closed, effective immediately because of flooding concerns. Officials there say that they have a lot of runoff coming from Lake Kickapoo and from the Little Wichita, and so all that flooding is just pouring into Lake Arrowhead, and so the state park, as I just said, is now closed immediately. No word yet on how long it will be closed, but we hope to have more information on that for you tonight at 10. The deadly, unrelenting waters and downpours continue in Texas. A state of disaster has now been declared in 70 counties. Hundreds had to be rescued just over the last 24 hours. Today, the Dallas area got some of the worst of it, with officials saying a large portion of highway will close for a week due to flooding, and the rain will just not stop, with more storms firing up across the South tonight. NBC's Janet Shamlian reports.
Texas lashed again. This time, Dallas was hardest hit. Pounding rain flooded roads and brought the morning rush hour to a stop.
We're at a standstill. We can't go left, can't go right.
A portion of a highway now closed for up to 7 days. More than 7 inches of rain slammed the area. More than 200 people needed emergency rescue after flash flooding submerged cars. Even a tow truck driver who came to help others was stuck.
The water shut my truck down, and the water started rising immediately.
North of Dallas, a police officer had to be airlifted out after raging floodwaters surrounded his squad car. Near Houston, a triple threat. Waters rising on the Brazos, San Jacinto, and Colorado rivers. Several homes underwater.
You just don't know what to do because you see it and it's right there, you know, at your backyard.
More than 35 trillion gallons of rain have fallen in Texas in May, its rainiest month ever. That's enough to cover all of Texas in 8 inches of water. At some homes in hard-hit Wimberley, mud covers nearly every surface. At Judy Thompson's house, a big find today, her husband's wedding ring.
We got a few of our own things. Lots of people have nothing, you know, so we're lucky.
Floodwaters may be toxic, and snakes have washed up in some residential areas.
There's chemicals, there's bacteria, there are viruses, there's all kinds of things in the water.
Flooding also forcing several Oklahoma highways to close. With storms predicted for this weekend, residents are struggling to deal with more rain than they've seen in years.
That was Janet Shamlian reporting. At least 5 bodies have now been recovered and identified from flooding in Hays County, Texas. Among the most recent is that of 6-year-old Jonathan Andrew McComb.
Saddens me greatly to have to report out that the body of the missing juvenile that we located has been identified as Jonathan McComb, age 6. Our medical examiner released that information to us just recently, and we're greatly saddened to have to share that with you.
McComb went missing with his mother, his father, and his sister. Crews are still searching through more than 6,000 acres. 6 people remain missing. And of course, we all know we've been experiencing some flooding locally too. So just how is that affecting local farmers and their crops? Kevin Pinto went to the downtown Wichita Falls Farmers Market today to find out. Kevin.
Yeah, Melissa, I met up with some of Texoma's farmers, and most of them said that the flooding hasn't been all that bad for them. Becky Morath of Morath Orchard Farm says besides a couple of potatoes being ruined, that most of the crops have flourished, while the owner of Young's Orchard, Jan Young, thinks it's time for a change in weather.
We need the sun to come out and shine. It'll help everything if we get some sunshine. These plants need the rain, they really do, but they need the sunshine just as much.
Young also showed concern for wheat farmers, telling me that all of the rain and flooding is something they don't need. I will tell you more about the pros and cons of these floods on The Farmers tonight at 10.
All righty, Kevin, thanks so much for that report. Well, those farmers are wanting a little sunshine, Eric. It's looking like they're going to get it the next few days.
Yeah, never thought I'd be happy to say, goodness, it's drying up outside a little bit. Let's take a look at those current temperatures now. Everybody's in the 70s. Even have some places trying to approach the 80s. 79 right now in Vernon, and 78 in Frederick, and 77 in Lawton. Let's take a look at the radar. Last night we had some very heavy rain across Throckmorton, Young, and Jack counties, even into Montague County. We had a few showers this morning here in Wichita Falls, but that didn't really add up to much. Only about 17/100ths of an inch fell at the airport. Here's a look at our weather headlines. Pleasant and dry this evening. Warm and dry for your Sunday. Can't rule out a shower out west Sunday night. And we got a warm and muggy week coming up, and I'll talk about that coming up, Melissa.
Alrighty, Eric, thanks so much. Now, all the recent rain means many of our area lakes are full. Those that aren't are filling up, and that's giving local fishermen something to celebrate as they're hitting the ponds and lakes, taking part in one of their favorite activities. Northwest Texas Field and Streams hosted hosted the annual Kids Fishing Rodeo at South Weeks Pond today. They invited area kiddos to cast a line and participate. Organizers say all the rain the past several weeks has made a huge difference.
Area lakes, of course, have obviously drastically been in need of water. Everything's full, our pond's full. The fisheries group puts fish in here every other week for us.
Carr says his organization has hosted the Kids Fishing Rodeo around this time every year for the past 50 years. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has left no doubt about his intention to sign a new open carry gun law. Abbott took to Twitter immediately after the law passed the State House and Senate last night, writing, "Next destination, my pen." The law will take effect January 1st. It allows people with concealed carry licenses to openly transport handguns in a shoulder or hip holster. Under the law, police will still be allowed to stop and detain a person solely for carrying a handgun openly. Licensees must be at least 21 years old and must pass a background check, a written test, and a range test. Area historians gathered in Wichita Falls today working to keep the area's history alive. The Museum of North Texas History hosted the Texas Historical Commission's Oral History Workshop. The focus of today's workshop was about the Cold War and how it affected Wichita County and surrounding counties.
Help you fill in the gaps where the historical record does not have enough information or doesn't have any information at all. Plus, it can help give you the first-person perspective of someone's remembrances of an event, whether that be a war or the founding of a church or the desegregation of a school.
Organizers say the workshop will help keep the stories about the Cold War around so that future generations can learn from them. Today's workshop was part of a 2-year series by the Texas Historical Commission with the goal of preserving Texas's history during the Cold War. After the break, Eric Johnson is back. He'll have your full weather forecast for the weekend and later. Some restaurants and food companies are phasing out things like artificial colors, artificial flavors, antibiotics, GMOs, and more. Dietitians say it's great companies are starting to examine their ingredients. However, its impact on public health remains largely unknown. We'll take a look at that coming up in tonight's HealthCast. Plus, the Archer City Lady Cats are needing 2 wins to advance to the softball state tournament. Jermaine Farrell gives us an update on how they are doing later in sports.
You're watching KFDX3 News at 6 with Melissa Foy. Weather with Eric Johnson. And sports with Jermaine Farrell. Closed captioning on KFDX is brought to you by the Altman Legal Group.
Welcome back. An increasing number of restaurants and food companies are eliminating some artificial ingredients and moving away from livestock-given antibiotics. Most experts agree cutting back on antibiotics in our food supply will help the serious problem of antibiotic resistance. But will the other changes make a difference? Erica Edwards takes a look.
Some of America's most well-known restaurants and food companies are touting what they're not serving, and customers appear to be eating it up.
I want to give my money to somebody that seems like they care.
Kraft's Dayglow orange macaroni and cheese will fade once the company switches from artificial to natural coloring next year. McDonald's chicken will gradually phase out antibiotics.
It's always a great thing when restaurants look at their ingredients and say, let's simplify. Let's take out what we don't need.
Chipotle proudly announces its menu is free of GMOs, much to the delight of its patrons, even if they're unclear about what GMOs are.
And with the GMO thing, I don't know a lot about that, but it just seems like they're just making the right choice.
Genetically modified organisms in plant-based foods means scientists have altered the DNA of one plant by adding DNA from another plant, making crops more robust to sustain a growing population. While there's no solid evidence GMOs are harmful to health, critics argue their long-term safety is largely unknown.
I don't want my children to have to eat, genetically modified food.
The potential health impact of phasing out some artificial ingredients also remains to be seen. Nutrition experts say bigger gains would be made by cutting back on sugary drinks and oversized meals.
It's important that people still pay attention to things like portion size and calories, even though the restaurant may have actually made some important changes.
Members of the Grocery Manufacturers Association say the industry has reformulated 30,000 products since 2003, largely based on consumer desires. Erica Edwards, NBC News.
And a majority of packaged food in the U.S. contains GMOs, but they're not labeled as such. Organic food does not contain GMOs. Time now for a quick check of sports with Jermaine Farrell. And Jermaine, the Archer City Lady Cap softball team, they're in must-win mode today.
Melissa, they are on the field right now needing 2 wins to go to state. And we'll have an update of their series against Hawley next to end that losing streak. And, of course, a little golf action from your neck of the woods. You're like aren't you the queen of the Metroplex?
I have not been crowned the queen of Metroplex. They haven't told me about that yet, so.
And what's so neat, they have back-to-back golf tournaments, you know, with the Colonial and then the Byron Nelson. So it's golf time in the Metroplex.
Right, it's a neat time.
Have you ever been in those courses?
I've been to both of them, actually, and I mean, just a phenomenal time. Just to be outside, spending all that time outside and everything, you know, it's just so nice.
And I'll be working on my tan if I was doing that.
Right, hey, me too.
There you go.
Lord knows I need it. Okay, riddle me this. I have a riddle for you.
Uh-oh.
Okay. You're on a car ride.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay, you're the only one in the car, but there's no driver. You're not the driver. Who is?
I'd be scared.
The answer to that, next. I'd be scared too.
Yeah, that's right.
A Japanese maker of mobile games has announced it will launch self-driving taxis in time for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. The driverless car is still in development, and of course there are a lot of legal issues to deal with before it hits the highway in Japan. But the giant mobile game company Dina has a big plan for the product. The company has partnered with a robot startup, ZMP, and they're working on perfecting this. They're calling it the RoboCar. Some Japanese analysts predict 1 of every 4 cars sold will be driverless by the year 2035. Tokyo was announced as the host city for the 2020 Olympic Games in September 2013. What do we think about this, guys?
I would be walking.
Wait, but when you sit in it, do you have to do that by the steering wheel? Just have to keep your hands up like that? You see, why is he constantly just like holding? It's like if he touches the steering wheel, what's going to happen?
Right, I don't know.
Is it going to bite him? I don't know.
And who's controlling it? That's the key. Who's controlling the car?
I guess the car is smarter than the rest of us.
Let's take a look at the next 7 days shaping up like this. No rain chance in the forecast. However, can't rule out an isolated shower out west Sunday night into Monday morning, but overall temperatures staying in the 80s and lows like in the 60s, so it's going to be a warm and muggy week coming up.
You know, it's been a while since you haven't had like a percentage of precipitation on your 7 days.
It's been a while, yes.
It's been a while. Well, that is it for us, and we'll see you right back here tonight at 10. Welcome back. Some Texomans were ready to enjoy a day outside free from all the rain. Who would have thought we would be saying that, right? But what better day to spend a warm Saturday outdoors than at one of Wichita Falls' newest attractions, the Yard. Matt McCulloch was out there today, and so Matt, I hear it was a really busy day out there.
Melissa, you wouldn't believe how many people were out at the Yard, finally getting to enjoy a day in the sun, like you said. Food truck parks are becoming more and more popular in the United States. Mobile vending is expected to be a $2.7 billion industry by 2017, up from $600 million in 2011. As for the local park, the Yard goes, it has different food trucks to choose from each day, and already customers are calling it a hit.
Last night being our first night, this place was packed. There wasn't a parking space to be found. The trailers all had a line. Every table was full. I bet I just guessing, had to be 200 people down here. And it stayed that way all night.
We came here on the day it opened, and we're really impressed, and decided to come back on a nice Saturday afternoon.
What made you come back?
Tacos.
So it's the tacos, the company, and just being outdoors that make the park such a great hangout spot. And I can't say that I blame them. Tacos are enough to get me out anywhere. Melissa?
Hey, you and me both, Matt. Thanks so much. Now, if you love food trucks and you need to go out to the Food Truck Championship of Texas, it's in Graham. It's next weekend. It's going to be on the square there in Graham from 11 a.m. till 7 p.m. All you have to do is go out there and enjoy some great food. Today, Wichita Falls honored its sister city of Fürstenfeldbruck, got it, Germany, with a Maibaum Fest, a popular German celebration of springtime pride and connection to the city. The German-American Club of Wichita Falls hosted the 3rd annual Maibaum Fest at Opa Schnitzel House. Normally, the maypole is supposed to be installed May 1st, but because of all the storms, the club had to wait until today. The pole sports several decorative signs of various Wichita Falls businesses.
Those different signs, they symbolize basically different businesses, and in Germany we have those signs too. and of course with different trades. And it's basically like an advertising for the village or for the city on what kind of business is in the town.
Mayor Glenn Barham was also out there today for the ceremonies and even helped put the signs up on the pole. The May Bomb will come down on October 6th, followed by an Oktoberfest celebration. And Jermaine's in with sports in just a couple minutes.
Just announced special limited time savings during the Memorial Day EcoBoost event at your Texas Ford dealer. Get no payments for 90 days plus an additional 500.
News at 5 in high definition.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Melissa Foy. Wichita Falls police say a body was found in floodwaters in the city today. WFPD officer Jeff Hughes says someone called the police department just after 11 this morning. That person told police that they found the body. Officer Hughes says it was submerged in floodwaters and extra measures had to be taken to recover it.
A substantial amount of water that the scuba team did have to be responded, or they had to respond out. So the WFPD scuba team responded. The search and rescue team from the fire department responded. I do know that they did deploy certain means used by the scuba team to get to the body.
Officer Hughes says there's no indication as to how long that body had been there. He also says the body did not have an ID on it, and investigators have not been able to determine if foul play was involved. It will be sent to the Tarrant County Medical Examiner's office for an autopsy and for positive identification. Graham police are asking for your help in finding a missing Grayford woman. Graham Police Chief Tony Widener says they're looking for 22-year-old Leah Donise Martin. He says Martin was in Graham on Friday for a high school graduation and was last heard from just before 10 Friday night when she spoke with a relative on her cell phone. The next morning, Chief Widener says Martin's vehicle was found parked outside her workplace, but she wasn't there and she hasn't been heard from since. Martin is described as a white female with brown shoulder-length hair. If you have any information about where she could be, call the Graham Police Department. One man is hospitalized after a crop dusting plane crashed into an Archer County field. Sheriff Stacy Biesinger says that happened this morning about 6 miles south of Archer City. When the small engine plane went down, Sheriff Biesinger says it took several power lines down with it, knocking out power in Archer City. The downed power lines caused several wrecks on the highway. Sheriff Biesinger says some Archer County residents driving to Graham called authorities to let them know about the electrical lines in the roadway. When first responders arrived on scene, they say they found the pilot, identified as Tim Crowell of Wichita Falls, near the edge of the highway. They say he crawled there seeking help. When Sheriff Biesinger arrived on scene, she says Kroll was standing but was visibly injured. He was taken to the hospital by Air-Evac. DPS is still investigating the cause of that crash. Lake Arrowhead State Park is still closed today because of flooding concerns. Park officials made that call yesterday. They say parts of the park are flooded, and that's very dangerous for patrons.
The Little Wichita River is still out of its banks, and it's still coming in rapidly, which is feeding the south portion of Lake Arrowhead. And it's also catching all that water that's going over the spillway at Lake Kickapoo. So we're getting a lot of runoff right now as well. The ground is just so saturated and areas are flooded. So all that water is coming up into the state park, and there's just not much room for it to go.
All the campers at the park left after they were told they needed to find another place to go last night because of the flooding. Electricity is shut off at the fishing pier. Officials say they don't yet know when they'll reopen the park, so we will keep you up to date on that. Time now for our first look at weather. Eric Johnson is in the Weather Center. And Eric, another calm, beautiful day across Texoma.
Yeah, very nice across all of the area. Temperatures today soared into the upper 70s and low 80s. Let's take a look at the temperatures now. 79 here in Wichita Falls, got a 79 in Lawton. Vernon, the hot spot this afternoon at 85 degrees. Graham coming in at 80. Bowie and Waurika come in at 73, so a little bit cooler off towards the southeast. Here's a quick look at the radar. Not much going on. Satellite, though, showing some clouds streaming in from the northwest. That'll make for a nice sunset this evening, so get your cameras ready. Post your sunset pics on Facebook, so it's going to be a nice sunset. But overall, things looking dry. We do have a slim chance for a shower tomorrow night. I'll talk about that coming up, Melissa.
Alrighty, Eric, thanks so much. Now that college graduations are in the books, many graduates look ahead to the future. Kevin Pinto was able to gather some information and tips for graduates. So, Kevin, how does the job market look for our MSU graduates?
Yeah, Melissa, almost 50% of new graduates have already secured a job prior to graduating. I spoke with Megan Magana, the office manager with Ferion Staffing, who said that getting a job will be easier for graduates than it has been in the past.
The good news is that the job outlook for the class of 2015 is the highest that it's been in years, both locally and nationally. In fact, according to the National Association of Colleges and Employers, we're expected to see a 9.6 increase in hiring over last year.
The reason for the increased job rate has a lot to do with the baby boomer generation heading into retirement. Even though the job outlook is getting better, Magana still urges up and coming seniors to continue participating in internships and, most importantly, networking. I actually talked to a student today who told me she is getting her career started because of someone she knows in the business. So networking is a big factor to getting your foot in the door.
That is the truth. That's actually how I got this job. And we'll have much more on that story coming up tonight at 10. Kevin, thanks so much. After the break, Eric Johnson is in with your full weather forecast for the coming week. And coming up in tonight's HealthCast, those with severe depression may find relief from a magnet therapy when medications don't work. Plus, former Rider star Gage Green and his Oklahoma State Cowboys are at the edge of elimination for the NCAA Division I baseball tournament. Jermaine Farrell gives us an update on their game later in sports.
You're watching KFDX3 News at 5 with Melissa Foy. Weather with Eric Johnson. And sports with Jermaine Farrell. Closed captioning on KFDX is brought to you by the Altman Legal Group.
May 2015, a record-breaking month in Wichita Falls.
Yeah, for a lot of rain. Who would have ever guessed we'd be talking about flooding and crazy rainfall across all of Texoma? Over the last 5 years, we've been dealing with exceptional and extreme droughts. So just really amazing numbers. Let's take a look at this right now. 17 inches of rain fell in the month of May here in Wichita Falls. So far in 2015, we've had 25.11 inches, and our annual average is actually 28.92. So we're just under 4 inches from reaching our normal yearly total. Isn't that crazy? And as we go into the month of June, actually, June is typically Wichita Falls' wettest month on the year, or at least for the year. So we'll just have to see how that goes. However, the first week of June is looking relatively dry. Here's a look at this map. I know, I'll just step out of the way. It looks like a paint can just exploded on it, I know. But let me try to make sense of this. This is radar estimated rainfall for the entire month of May. And these little light shadings of pink, that's 12 inches of rain. And then those numbers increase as the shading gets darker. So around the Wichita Falls area, radar estimating anywhere from 18 to 16 inches of rain. That white area that you see, that's 20 inches of rain. A lot of that fell right in the watershed. Here's Archer County and here's Clay County, Lake Arrowhead about right here. So for the entire month of May, some locations radar estimated rainfall totals showing over 20 inches of rain. Your rain gauge may very well have something different. You may have higher totals in your rain gauge. You may have lower totals in your rain gauge. Again, just emphasizing these are estimated rainfall totals, but they are pretty close. Temperatures right now across the area, 81 in Duncan and 75 in Waurika. So temperature in Waurika and Bowie has gone up 2 degrees in the past hour, 79 here in Wichita Falls, 81 in Quanah and Vernon down to 84. You were 85 at the top of the hour. Looking at the radar and satellite right now, not much going on. However, we are watching some high clouds streaming in from the northwest. Not really going to do much, but this will probably make for a really nice sunset this evening. So again, be on the lookout. Look out toward the west. That's where the sun sets. It doesn't change, I promise. If it does change, then we got some problems. But anyway, get some nice sunset pics. Post them on Facebook page, KFDX3 Weather. Or I'm on Facebook, too. Just search me, meteorologist Eric Johnson. Always appreciate your pictures out there. Satellite radar across the whole nation. Things are relatively quiet across all of the southern plains, across Oklahoma and North Texas, finally drying out after the record rainfall we've seen over the past couple of weeks. Looking at Futurecast, we go into Monday. Maybe a few high clouds, but then it does show going in a late Monday night into Tuesday, a little disturbance trying to drop by across Oklahoma may create a chance for maybe a few scattered showers and isolated thunderstorm late Monday night going to early Tuesday morning. However, those chances are slim, and again, the best chances are actually in northern Oklahoma and into central Oklahoma. So you forecast low temperatures tonight, another pleasant evening, still below normal or average. Low temperature is about 64, 57 for your low tonight in Wichita Falls, 58 in Lawton, and some 60s off towards the west. You forecast high temperatures today, everybody back into the 80s, 80 for Lawton, or actually tomorrow, 82 for Wichita Falls and 83 for your high temperature in Graham. A quick recap of your forecast for tonight, about 57, calm and pleasant, just a nice evening to grill outside, get the barbecue pit going. Southeast winds 5 to 15. If you're doing ribs, let me know. Looking at the forecast for tomorrow, 82 degrees, isolated shower, maybe, especially very late after midnight going to Tuesday morning, mainly in Oklahoma. Southeast winds 5 to 15. The next 7 days shaping up like this. Temperatures only start to warm up as we go throughout the next couple of days. And with all that rain that we got, it's going to be really muggy. So keep that in mind. And the mosquitoes are going to be out too. And they're already out, kind of picking everybody up and taking away with them. Temperatures warming up into the 90s by next weekend. We'll be right back.
Weather Watches on KFDX is brought to you by State Farm agent Tracy Denson, your home, life, health, and auto experts.
Kids are playing the league, so we can kind of extend that story and let people know how unselfish people can be when they step up to do the right thing.
That was pretty neat. One other quick thing. Holiday, Archer City, we had a video contest on the Sports, KFDX3 Sports Facebook page.
Yeah.
The time to vote is wrapping up.
Oh, no.
And they got to do it by 10. And there are ways you can score real quick. You get a point for viewing the video, 2 points if you comment on the videos, and 3 points if you share the video. All that on KFDX3 Sports Facebook page. The voting wraps up at 10. We'll
4.5 hours. That's it.
4.5 hours, and also Holiday has a 500-point lead, so there's still time for them to catch up.
Oh, wow. That's a big lead. Well, a California restaurant owner found a unique way to change the perception of police officers in his city. We'll have that story next.
There's no reason you should worry about.
Welcome back. A new study suggests young men who are chronic gamblers may be more prone to depression. Researchers followed more than 900 boys beginning in kindergarten and throughout their 20s. While only 3% developed a gambling problem, 3/4 of those who did also had symptoms of depression. Impulsive behavior was also linked to depression and gambling, and these problems tended to get worse over time. Experts say gambling and depression should be treated at the same time. A cutting-edge new therapy to treat depression. Some patients say they've seen success after medications didn't work. Renee Tessman explains.
It's very focused.
Hear that clicking?
I call it Woody Woodpecker.
It's the sound of targeted magnetic pulses being sent to a specific part of Barbara Sautner's brain to treat her severe depression.
So you don't want to stimulate the whole brain, you just want to stimulate this part of the brain. So you can affect only mood.
It's called transcranial magnetic stimulation, or TMS.
TMS is the revolution that psychiatry has been waiting for.
This year, psychiatrist Dr. Ahmed Dokmak began offering NeuroStar TMS therapy to patients for whom medications either don't work or their side effects are too great.
I had seizures that were quite intense, and I couldn't sleep at night, or I slept too much.
With TMS, the pulsed magnetic field stimulates brain cells that help produce chemicals to better regulate mood.
This is the part of the brain that is not functioning well in depression.
Over half of patients see improvement, and for 1 in 3, symptoms are gone. Sautner is off her medications and is no longer depressed.
It's kind of like the light went on.
Her husband says he has his wife back.
Because she's got a beautiful personality again.
Now, this is not shock therapy. These are magnetic pulses. The only side effect, minor scalp irritation during the first couple treatments. Medicare started covering TMS therapy last year, but it is not yet covered by all insurance companies. Time now for a quick check of sports with Jermaine Farrell and former Raider baseball player Gage Green and his Oklahoma State Cowboys. They are in must-win mode today, Jermaine.
Melissa Green and the Pokes, they are the top seed in their region, and they need wins badly to keep their national title hopes alive. I'll have an update on OSU coming up in sports, so stick and stay.
Besides citing violators, Lompoc police are rewarding those who did the right things with a coupon for a free personal-sized pizza. They're being called the Good Ticket Police. For about 3 months, Wild West Pizza owner Dave Goldie was cooking up this idea. He saw a lot of negative national attention directed at police officers, so he donated free pizza vouchers to try to make a difference. Wild West Pizza provided vouchers for 1,000 free pizzas for the Positive Ticket program.
So nice to see someone spreading the pizza.
Yeah.
Spreading the pizza. You know?
Should broadcasters get free pizza like us?
I love pizza.
I don't know. I think
Never met
everybody
a pizza I
deserves a
didn't
free
like.
pizza.
Yes.
Can we get a song of you singing pizza, Melissa?
Pizza, pizza. I don't know. I'll have to figure out a song that has
Let's take
pizza
a
in
quick
it.
look at the
Weather.
next 7 days. I threw in a little rain chance in there for late Monday night going to Tuesday, mainly for northern and central Oklahoma, maybe, or northern Texoma counties north of the Red River. But anyway, look at the next 7 days. 80s for highs, temperatures approaching the 90s by the end of the week, and temperatures staying in the 60s for your low temperatures. So it's going to be a really nice warm day, but it will be muggy and humid. And also, those mosquitoes are going to be out there.
All right. Well, thanks, Eric. And that was probably my last time singing on air. So you at home don't have to go like this anymore every time you see me start singing and dancing. But so it's my last weekend at KFDX, and I'll report on Wednesday and Thursday, and then I'm out of here. But you guys will still be my friends for life. And I've enjoyed you guys so much. You guys are so fun. So fun. You and I have known each other for what, like 8 years?
We've known each other since college.
Yeah, anchored together in college.
I can't imagine the weekends now without you. So.
Well, and you, I feel like I've known you for like ages. So, but you guys are so fun. One more newscast together. We got this. That is all for us, but we'll see you at 10.
State Farm agent Tracy Denson, your home, life, health, and auto experts.
Okay, well, earlier in the past couple of newscasts, Melissa announced that this is going to be her last anchoring.
I knew you were going to do this to me.
Well, you know, Melissa and I go way back, and we were in school together, and I could not have asked for a better classmate and a better colleague, like, seriously. And I'm even tearing up thinking about this, but I'm not going to cry, though, but...
You little turd. Oh, man. You know I can beat you up.
You have just, you inspire everyone to work as hard as you do, and
you
make a real impact on everyone here in Texas. We're just so thankful for having you. But I did some, yesterday when I went home, I dusted off my old laptop from school, and I found some old videos.
Oh, no.
It's not much because I couldn't find much.
Oh, no.
But I found
This could be bad.
I found some video of us doing OU Nightly. OU Nightly was our student newscast back at OU. We went to school there. So let's take a look at the video.
Oh, let's not.
It features Melissa Foy.
Oh, no. Please tell me you're in it, too.
I'm assuming we have the video. Is it there?
Today was a really nice day. We saw some really warm temperatures.
Yeah, but I think it's about to get a little bit colder. What does it look like outside?
Allison, right now it's very nice, 67 degrees, almost unheard of this time of the year.
All right, well, thanks so much.
Thank you.
And here's a look at what's coming up in sports.
Yep, there we go.
Today was a really nice day. We saw some
That's all I could find.
I can't believe you found that.
But you know what?
You're so funny.
But you know what? Yeah, we go way back. It's just not going to be the same without you. But I'm so happy for you, and I wish you nothing but the best. My forecast for you is filled with nothing but success.
Thank you, and your friendship for life. I hope too.
For life. Absolutely. Okay, well, let's kind of talk about weather. I guess everybody's like, okay, enough of this. So yeah, we've been talking about record rainfall for the entire month of May, and here it is, 17 full inches here in Wichita Falls for the entire month of, well, May. And you know, for the entire year so far, we've reached 25 inches, over 25 inches, and 28.92 is our normal average annual rainfall. So all the rain, we just got all the rain because everyone's so sad that Melissa's leaving. The sky is literally crying. That's what's going on here. So here's another map here. I know this looks crazy. It looks like a paint can exploded everywhere. But this just shows the radar estimated rainfall over all of Texoma for the entire month of May. Now here's Wichita Falls, here's Lawton up here, here, there's Vernon. The white areas, that shows radar estimated rain totals for the entire month of May, over 20 inches. So notice the radar estimates have 18 to 16 over Wichita Falls. So just lots of crazy amounts of rain. And of course, Archer County right here, Lake Arrowhead right there, in the bullseye of that 20-inch range, and that's what really helped make an impact on Lake Kickapoo and on Lake Arrowhead. So just so nice to see those lake totals so high. Looking at our temperatures right now, 67 in Lawton, 71 in Vernon, and 66 in Wichita Falls, 65 in Bowie, and 78 in Paducah. Here's a look at the radar now. Had a few high clouds stream in this afternoon. Now, as we take a wider view, we are watching sort of this pattern. It's a little tricky pattern. This happens sometimes. Notice how the clouds moving from the northwest to the southeast. That's known as a northwestern flow. As long as we're in that, we can see some little weak disturbances move into North Texas. That could provide the chance for maybe a light scattered shower early in the morning. I didn't necessarily put in the forecast because it does seem like as they will move further south, it will weaken. But don't be surprised to maybe see a few sprinkles tomorrow morning. Here's a look at Futurecast. Futurecast doesn't show much going into Monday. However, as we go into Tuesday morning, early Tuesday morning, another one of those little disturbances passes across northern Oklahoma and brings the rain chances further north. But again, that's a possibility. But overall, the next couple of days looking a lot drier than what we have seen over the past couple of days, at least for the whole month of May. So hopefully June will be a little bit more quiet. Here's a look at your forecast. Low temperatures for tonight: 57 for Duncan, 57 Wichita Falls, and 60 for Vernon. Upper 50s out to the west. So overall, a relatively cool night considering our average low is about 64 degrees for this time of the year. Forecast high temperatures tomorrow. Everybody warming up into the upper 80s. Out west, further east, maybe temperatures in the lower 80s, but overall still below normal. 87, our average high for this time of the year. So here's a quick recap of your forecast for tonight. 57 for your low temperature. Again, can't rule out an isolated shower. The chances are slim, especially north of the Red River. A southeast wind about 5 to 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow, a high about 82 degrees, pleasant, comfortable. An isolated shower later on going into Monday night into early Tuesday. Again, the best chances will be across our northern counties, and the next 7 days shaping up like this. Temperature staying in the 80s. And really pretty nice, also warming up a lot. So with all that moisture in the air and we see the temperature start to warm up, that humidity is going to start to go up as well. So going to be some muggy days, even though temperatures stay in the 80s. The heat index will be high as well. Melissa?
I think we look a little better and do a little better now than we did in college. What do you think?
Well, I don't know. I definitely gained like 300 pounds from my college days. So going back, I was like, oh my God.
No.
I've let myself
But
go.
look at us now.
Look at us now.
Still
And you
rubbing
look
elbows
the same.
on the
You look
desk.
the same and as beautiful as always.
Oh, you're the best. Eric, thanks. Still to come, terror group ISIS continues to gain ground at the expense of thousands of innocent lives. More on that coming up.
Local, in-depth, community. You're watching KFDX3 News at 10 in high definition.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Melissa Foy. Wichita Falls police say a body was found in floodwaters in the city today. WFPD officer Jeff Hughes says someone called the police department just after 11 this morning. That person told police that they found the body. Officer Hughes says it was submerged in floodwaters and extra measures had to be taken to recover it.
It is a substantial amount of water that the scuba team did have to be responded, or they had to respond out. So the WFPD scuba team responded. The search and rescue team from the fire department responded. I do know that they did deploy certain means used by the scuba team to get to the body.
Officer Hughes says there's no indication as to how long the body had been there. He also says the body did not have an ID on it, and investigators have not been able to determine if foul play was involved. It will be sent to the Tarrant County Medical Examiner's office for an autopsy and for positive identification. And police in Graham are asking for your help in finding a missing Grayford woman. Graham Police Chief Tony Widener says they're looking for 22-year-old Leah Donise Martin. He says Martin was in Graham on Friday for a high school graduation and was last heard from just before 10 Friday night when she spoke with a relative on her cell phone. The next morning, Chief Widener says Martin's vehicle was found parked outside her workplace, but she wasn't there and she hasn't been heard from since. Martin is described as a white female with brown shoulder-length hair. If you have any information as to where she could be, call the Graham Police Department. One man is hospitalized after a crop dusting plane crashed in an Archer County field. Sheriff Stacy Biesinger says that happened this morning about 6 miles south of Archer City when the small engine plane went down. Sheriff Biesinger says it took down several power lines with it, knocking out power in Archer City. The downed power lines caused several wrecks on the highway. Sheriff Biesinger says some Archer City residents driving to Graham called authorities to let them know about the electrical lines in the roadway. When first responders arrived on scene, they say they found the pilot, identified as Tim Kroll of Wichita Falls, near the edge of the highway. They say he crawled there to find help. When Sheriff Biesinger arrived on scene, she says Kroll was standing but was visibly injured. He was taken to the hospital by air evac. DPS is still investigating the cause of the crash. It's a law that's been argued in the Lone Star State since 1871. The dispute is whether Texans should be allowed to openly carry around a firearm. But with newly elected Governor Greg Abbott in office, that ban against open carry is expected to be lifted. Matt McCulloch joins us now with more. Matt.
Melissa, it's no secret that Texans are proud of their right to the Second Amendment. And in Texas, it is already legal to openly carry rifles and other long arms, but never openly carry a handgun in public. That is, until now. For 20 years, Texans have been allowed to carry around a concealed weapon. But on Friday, lawmakers passed a bill allowing Texans to now carry a handgun openly on the streets.
Licensed open carry will be the law of the land in Texas.
The House gave the open carry bill its final approval with a 102 to 43 vote. And shortly after, the Senate passed it 20-11. All that is left is a signature from Governor Greg Abbott, who took to Twitter promising he will sign the bill.
We feel like we passed a bill that's a common sense bill that will be just fine for the people of Texas.
Well, I think it's a good opportunity for everybody.
For a state known for its loose gun laws, Texas has been behind the curve on passing an open carry law. In fact, Texas was one of only 6 states with an outright ban on guns visible in plain sight.
44 states in the United States have some form of open carry. So I jokingly said, let's Texans go where everyone else has gone before.
Under the new law, applicants must be at least 21 years old and successfully pass a background check as well as a written exam. Also, people with a concealed handgun license will be allowed to openly carry if they so choose.
I really want to stress that we have great trust and confidence in these people that are concealed license holders in Texas, over 800,000 people, and they will determine whether they carry in a concealed manner or openly.
I don't think it's going to change anything. I think it's going to be fine. You're probably not going to see a whole lot of people still open carry, but I think it'll make it a lot safer for the community.
The open carry bill states that police will have the authority to question people with handguns in plain sight to see if they have the proper licenses. The bill will go into effect on January 1st of next year. Melissa?
And we're just waiting on Governor Abbott's signature on that. Matt, thanks. Lake Arrowhead State Park is still closed today because of flooding concerns. Park officials made that call last night. They say parts of the park are flooded, and that's very dangerous for patrons.
The Little Wichita River is still out of its banks, and it's still coming in rapidly, which is feeding the south portion of Lake Arrowhead. And it's also catching all that water that's going over the spillway at Lake Kickapoo. So we're getting a lot of runoff right now as well. The ground is just so saturated and areas are flooded. So all that water is coming up into the state park, and there's just not much room for it to go.
All the campers at the park left after they were told last night that they needed to find another place to go because of the flooding. Electricity is also shut off at the fishing pier. Officials say they don't yet know when they'll be able to reopen the park, but we will keep you posted on that. And because of all the flooding, Lake Arrowhead is at full capacity and flowing over the spillway. Lake Arrowhead was about 20% full at the beginning of the month, so there's been a dramatic change at that lake in just a short couple weeks. And with the lake now at 100% capacity, people are going out and seeing for themselves what they haven't seen in years, a full lake.
It's running over, and it's right underneath my dock, and I hadn't seen that in 5 years.
Crazy how much water we got this past month.
Residents did everything from just pulling off the side of the road to see the spillway to sitting on the back of their trucks and catching fish. This is the first time Lake Arrowhead is rushing over that spillway since 2007. Well, I know those people at the park, Eric, they're going to be glad for a couple dry days. The radar's clear right now, hoping that they dry out that park and maybe they can reopen that state park.
Yeah, it would be nice once things kind of dry out a little bit. Kind of weird to talk about that considering we've been in an extreme, exceptional drought for the past forever ago. But anyway, looking at the temperatures now, everybody's in the 60s and 70s. Look at the temperatures changing right before your eyes now. 74 in Eureka, 71 in Vernon, and 78 in Monday. We are watching some scattered showers way to the north. You can't see them here, but they're approaching the Texas Panhandle into northern Oklahoma. Those may try to move into Texoma later on tonight, going to early Monday morning. Our northern counties would have the best chance of seeing anything. It does look like as they move further south, though, weekend, but we'll watch it. Overall, the rain chances will look pretty slim as we go throughout the next couple of days, but they are there. We'll talk about it in more detail coming up, Melissa.
Alrighty, we'll check back with you in just a few. Eric, thanks. Rising waters in North Texas are pushing snakes from their normal hiding spots, and doctors say they're seeing a spike in snake bites. Ray Vieta reports.
Saw something green and I looked more closer and it was a snake. I tried moving the snake with the wood chip and then it just bit me.
Skylar Brown's recess ruined, his hand swollen after a bite from a copperhead snake.
It started bleeding and I shaked my hand and it made it worse. So then I ran to my teacher and they made everyone go out the playground.
It happened at Timber Creek Elementary Thursday afternoon during recess. The Louisville ISD tells us it canceled all outdoor activities as a result, adding the campus in the district will continue to monitor the weather and will evaluate at that time if outdoor activities will continue during the remaining days of this school year.
Whenever the snake bit me, it felt like basically like a bee stinging.
The third grader is among the half-dozen snake bites seen at Children's Medical Center in Dallas in just the last 12 days. On average, Children's Health sees a dozen bites a summer.
I'm not too surprised by that just because of the increased rain and flooding that we're experiencing. The snakes are trying to seek safe, dry ground.
Skylar's hand is starting to get back to normal after the swelling.
It started from here and then here. And in here.
The pain is going away too, but the 10-year-old certainly isn't afraid of snakes. Are you scared of them now?
No, not really.
Why not?
Because now I know what those look like, and I'm going to stay away from those.
That was Ray Vieta reporting. Wichita County officials say the floodwaters have brought many more venomous snakes out into the open. After the break, Eric Johnson is in with your full weather forecast for the week and later. Now that college and university graduations have wrapped up, we'll take a look at how the job market is for the newest work seekers, the class of 2015. Plus, has the Senate made a decision as to whether the Patriot Act, along with NSA keeping tabs on certain phone calls, will continue? We'll take a look. Stay with us.
You're watching KFDX3 News at 10 with Melissa Foy. Weather with Eric Johnson. And sports with Jermaine Farrell. Closed captioning on KFDX.
You won't go anywhere else.
Welcome back. So now that hundreds of graduates are heading out into the working world, will they be able to find jobs? Here's a bit of a spoiler for you. Things are looking a bit more cheery this year compared to recent years. Kevin Pinto reports.
Ladies and gentlemen, the graduating class of May 2015.
And with that, Midwestern State University's May 2015 graduation ceremony is in the books, which means a new rush of unemployed graduates are ready to attack the job market.
I actually was doing an internship with Design Works. They offered me a part-time job. Now I'm jumping on full-time.
I actually just accepted a full-time job down in Dallas for North Star Diagnostic for X-ray. So excited to get moving down there and get it rolling.
With fewer than half of the new graduates already having secured a job prior to graduating, Megan Magana, office manager with Spirian Staffing, also says that getting a job will be easier for those looking than it has been in the past.
The good news is that the job outlook for the class of 2015 is the highest that it's been in years, both locally and nationally. In fact, according to the National Association of Colleges and Employers, we're expected to see a 9.6 increase in hiring over last year.
Magana says that the reason for the increased job rate has a lot to do with the baby boomer generation heading into retirement.
They're transitioning out of the workforce, which is creating a really large void, making it a lot easier for college grads to get their foot in the door as opposed to just a few years ago.
Even though the job outlook is getting better, Magana still urges up-and-coming seniors to continue participating in internships and, most importantly, networking, something MSU graduates say they're learning to be true.
Depended on who you knew and connection-wise, and that helped out when searching for a job.
Kevin Pinto, KFDX 3 News.
The National Association for Colleges and Employers expects an 8 to 10% increase in jobs available for May graduates compared to this time last year. Sports Sunday is coming up right after this newscast. For a look at what you can expect, here's Jermaine Farrell.
Melissa, Sports Sunday's coming up right after this great newscast. Tyler Junior College winning their second straight national championship. And one of those star players right here in Texoma, former Graham Steer Garrett Johnston, will be on the show to talk about winning that national championship. Plus, we'll have highlights from the Astros and Rangers. And who won the big battle? Was it Holiday or Archer City? The video contest. 2 softballers, but only one winner. We'll have this and so much more coming up on Sports Sunday right after KFDX 3 News at 10.
Just announced. Special limited time savings during the Memorial Day EcoBoost event at your Texas Ford dealer. Get no payments for 90 days plus an additional $500 cash back on top of all home
at First Bank.
ISIS militants have routed rival insurgents in northern Syria and captured a town along the Turkish border. ISIS fighters and a monitoring group say the extremists have taken the town of Saran Azaz and 2 nearby villages. A video posted online purports to show ISIS militants guarding a checkpoint at the town's entrance. Now, NBC News cannot independently verify the authenticity of this video. The towns fell to ISIS after clashes with fighters from a northern rebel alliance, which includes Western-backed fighters and Islamist militants. The British-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said this means ISIS will be able to move along a road leading north to a border crossing between Aleppo province and Turkey. Police in Alabama say a college student confessed to beating his mother to death during an argument over his grades. That was Friday morning. Police say 22-year-old Tyler Blansett called 911 to report the death of his mother, Sherry. They arrived and found her battered body behind the house. They say under questioning, Tyler told them his mother confronted him about failing grades, and Tyler confessed to striking her in the head with a baseball bat. The University of Alabama Birmingham student was arrested yesterday morning.
Just one of those things that you can't explain, and we'll never probably be able to explain it. You know, what went through his mind, why he snapped and did this.
Tyler Blansett is in the DeKalb County Jail awaiting charges. An autopsy will be performed to determine the exact cause of Sherry Blansett's death. The U.S. Senate voted tonight to begin a debate on a bill passed by the House to reform the National Security Agency's bulk data collection program. The vote was 77 to 17. Now, just a week earlier, that same procedural motion failed by 3 votes. But top Republicans previously opposed to changes to that program, including Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, reversed course. The bill renews 3 of the Patriot Act provisions expiring at midnight and would overhaul the controversial bulk telephone collection program. It is likely there will not be a vote on the final passage for several days. Any changes to the Freedom Act would go back to the House of Representatives for consideration. And here are some of your weather. Actually, we'll have some of your weather pictures from the past few weeks after this break. We'll be right back.
From the brand new skyscrapers in downtown.
All right, we have some weather pictures to look at.
Yes, a lot of viewers sent in a lot of weather pictures over the past couple of months, but we're going to do something a little bit differently.
Oh, no, we are not.
Yes, we are. Yeah, you know, you're just, I can't believe you think that you're just going to get off this easily.
I should. I've been so nice to you guys over the years.
You've been known to sneak birthday surprises and everything.
Birthday surprises, but you know what? You have done so much for KFDX and for Texoma. We can't thank you enough for that. You've been, like we said earlier, you've been an inspiration, and you've really made an impact on everyone that you have met here, and that really says something.
I love this community.
We have made something to say thank you.
Okay.
And let's take a look.
Oh, no. Oh, no. like 8 feet taller than you. I'm going to go down a little bit right there. Is that better for you?
Now you're on my level.
I don't know if I want to be there or not.
We do have some really great
We agree
sunsets.
on something.
I know. Imagine that. The world's ending.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
The pigs are flying. Yeah! That's what I'm talking about. Well, that was incredible.
There you go.
Thank you guys
And
so
I'd
much.
like to say personally, when I started here 2 years ago, I mean, first of all, being a part of this great weekend team, I know we had some big shoes to fill in that regard. And I can tell you right now, you're as genuine in front of the camera as you are behind the camera, behind the scenes. I mean, everybody in this community loves you to death. Yes. We love you. It's like a family on the weekends, and I wish you the best. You're a godsend to everybody. Such a blessing.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it so much.
Yes, and everything Jermaine said, like truly, when I first met you, I was like, why are you so nice? And that is just you. That is you. And yeah, you were just the realest, nicest, most genuine person, and nothing can replace you. The weekends will not be the same without you.
Well, I'll miss you guys so much. We'll be friends for life. I mean that. To all of you guys, everyone behind the camera and everything, in production and master control, you guys are amazing, phenomenal, and I have been so lucky to work with you guys. I'm still reporting on Wednesday and Thursday this week, and then I'm done. But as far as anchoring goes, this is it. So, Foy signing off. Good night, everyone.